It is time for Congress to once again take action to stop the latest reprehensible tactics that are being used against African Americans, Latinos, and other minorities to interfere with their right to vote. Mr. Chairman, our 2007 hearing record contains numerous examples of deceptive practices, so I will not repeat them in detail today. Suffices to say, the hearing record contained examples including listing the wrong day for election, intentionally aimed at minority communities so that they would not show up to vote, telling Republicans to vote on Tuesday and Democrats to vote on Wednesday, warning recent immigrants not to vote due to the possibility of deportation, warning voters with unpaid tickets, parking tickets not to vote or face prison terms or loss of custody of their children. And as the chairman pointed out, in my own election in 2006, I woke up on the morning of election to see a piece of literature put out by my opponent who claimed to be the Democrat and endorsed by prominent African Americans who had endorsed me in an effort to confuse the African American vote. Mr. Chairman, this is not freedom of speech. This is deceptive practices that have no place in our election system.
Common Cause, along with its coalition partners, including the Election Protection Coalition, have received numerous complaints over the years in our state offices around the country, from Colorado to Wisconsin, from Ohio to Pennsylvania. We have been responding to the kinds of intimidation and misleading acts that are being discussed here this morning. There is a gap between the rhetoric and the reality of voter fraud, and that can't go unnoticed. The single most fundamental right of all Americans is to cast a ballot in an election and be counted in our democratic process. So it is disheartening that today we are here to address a crisis in our elections where partisan operatives utilize trickery, lies, and deceit to change election outcomes. Once enacted, this bill will be stronger and more comprehensive than existing state laws, and the critical components to combating deceptive practices requires the strong penalties, the immediate corrective action, and a true assessment of the problems that voters face each and every election. With these actions, we can assure that Americans can enjoy the free exercise of elections.
I just think some of these practices are just despicable. Sending on what looks like official letterhead, your date of voting is changed to Wednesday just to Democrats and not to Republicans. These things, to me, people like this really belong in jail, because they're really violating the fabric of our democracy. I just find them despicable, despicable. And one of the things we're facing in this democracy is less and less faith in it. And one of the reasons is because people have found ways to interfere with democracy that nobody would support.